Alrighty, good morning, lads. Welcome to probably the new episode on a new PC. So I'm not sure how good the audio is going to be, not sure how good the video quality is going to be. I'm just going to upload it and we're going to have to find out. So this is going to be the third take on this 255 because both of my other fucking movies got corrupted on my old Mac. So hopefully I don't need to put up with that sort of bullshit anymore. And I guess, yeah, we'll get straight into it. So we're going to be using this comp that I released a few days ago. Not much has really changed with it. You can notice it's a bit taller. This is my 1.6 second 256 comp for anyone that is curious. And we're going to be building a 3 sec 256 off this. So what we have here is we've sort of got a nice little starting point. The reason why I like this comp is you've got like one input point. And you've got like one output point, which is just here. So what you can do from here is you can just feed the comp in, put in the correct timing in here, and then have your boosted timing off here, and then everything else is done for you. That's why I like these sorts of comps, where you don't need to feed anything off your hammer. All the wiring is done. It's ready to go. You just need to wire it up and fire it. So with that being said, what we'll do is we'll just get straight into it. So we're going to start with our booster. Of course, this block here, this is getting powered. This is my last booster, just there, where I pulled that power off. And then we can just go 1, 2, I'm actually going to make that one cobblestone, just so when that's sliding back and forth, I don't want that to pick that up. And then we're just going to go 3 sets. If I'm looking a bit shaky, it's because I don't have like my sensitivity all up to scratch right now. So it's going to be a little bit shaky to get started, but it should pick itself up fairly quickly once I start getting used to it. Whoa, alright, there we go. And then we'll just drop that in there. Yeah, the smoothness feels a little bit different, to be honest, so it is a bit weird. So with this sand comp here, I just need to keep in mind that we are going to be using a nuke as well. And we're going to need to wire a nuke into this thing. So I do want my sand comp sitting about there, so I can just have a ladder here. So it's fairly common convention to just shoot your nuke in from one of the sides. And in this case here with this compressor, I'm going to be shooting my nuke in from here. So it's not going to shoot into the comp there. What's going to do is it's going to shoot one block over to the right. And it'll just come out sort of there. Because you need to pretty much use infinite boosters everywhere when you are doing a cannon like this. You've sort of got two options here. You can either have the infinite boosters on the left or the right side. If you have it on the left side, it's going to hit this cobblestone block and any residual velocity is going to send it into that booster there. So usually I'll boost it from the right. So it just comes in and then slides slightly to the right, and then you can just put a slab there or something. So then we'll just have a little situation like that, and then perfect. That's pretty good. So this is our final booster setup here. That's all pretty wide. So that's wide up. That's ready to shoot straight into the barrel. That's why I really like this. Why did I do that? That's why I really like this comp here, because it's so easy to rig it up to a cannon. Anyway, so what we'll do from here is I do want to sort of get into a bit of planning. So of course we're going to start with a web bus nuke after this cannon. So I'm going to release 3 versions: a web bus nuke, an efficient nuke, and probably a pseudo nuke. So of course we need that 5 block wide area for a web bus nuke, so that we can have all the wiring in the middle. No matter if you do torch or comparator wiring, you still need that 5 block gap, unless you are using redstone bypass wiring, but I won't really get into that. So what we're going to do now is we can... I think I want the infinite boosters for the hammer shooting this way as well, sort of towards that. So what I'll do is I'll just extend that out a bit, and then we can just take this, and I do want that sitting on a ladder. Have it just like that. And what I'll do here is I'll put a trapdoor here. So this is our little stopper here for our hammer. So our hammer is going to be shot forwards and that direction there, to, sort of into this little area here. And what I'm also going to do is I do want to leave a spot out for the sand. So what I might do is I might have the sand piston for our one-shot sand just here. And then if I have the sand there, booster's getting shot in that way. That's all pretty much good, so I'll just be dropping my booster just down here. And now I've sort of got this little area designated for this booster. So what we can do from here is we can just rig all this up. So I want my booster to be sitting, about there. Yeah, if we have it sitting there, sand gets pushed in from the side through that little spot there. And then that should be pretty nice, to be honest. Perfect. So from here we'll just build this up a little bit. Don't really need that block there. Just making sure we're limiting exposure between that booster and that booster there, so we don't have any interference. And I'm just going to break that little line there. And then where was I shooting that through? Into there. And then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. So that's pretty much perfect. That's basically exactly what we want. This little barrel setup here. I'll probably just break that off a little bit there. Got that there. Sand goes in there, and then we can just have our barrel here. This is going to be our barrel. And what we can do is, if we have our boosters for our power, doesn't really matter which way we have the infinite boosters from our power going. But our sand and tintil going there, so we'll just put a chest here. Again, standard XY barrel is going to hit that, so I'll just put in a ladder just here. I'll boost everything over, and I'll have my power just sitting here. So that being said, now we can just rig up our power. So we're going to go 15 blocks long either side, which will come out to about 180 power, which will get us maybe 50, 55 chunks worth of range. Roughly. Do need to keep in mind that I don't know if anyone remembers, but in the last video where I talked about ratios, I did say the one that I was going to be using for this cannon was 0 to 6.59, which on my hammerless I was using about 150 power, and I was getting 45 chunks worth of range, roughly. And then I had more exposure on the other axis because of course you are using that chest there. So I was getting about 60 chunks of flow when I was diagging. So anyway, we'll keep going from here. So this is going to be our sand. What we can do from here is we can just rig up our power. So which way do I want my power coming in? There probably. Because I want 15 blocks, I think I'll need 2 boosters. I think 2. So we'll need that there, and then we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that looks good. So we'll just wire this all up. So we're just going to be using that standard 6 booster at the very back, and then we'll just use 4 then 5 for that final set of boosters there. So we'll just rig all that up now. So we want that to go there. 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that right? That's 6. There we go. So we'll get all this entire booster set up, wired up very quickly. And then, of course, we need that observer there. Pretty simple stuff. Same old, pretty much. And then we'll just go like that, and we do need this little holding thing out on the side here, just so we don't get any TNT spraying over the edge. And that can go there, that can go there, and then there, and then there. Perfect. Well, that's our boosters set up there. So what we can do now is we can just wire everything up. So what we'll do again is we'll just take it straight off this. One thing that I will do here is you can see we do have that sand comp there at the sand plate at the very top there. It doesn't need to be up that high. So what I'll do is I might just do rail. I might just do 3 observers here. 1, and then 2, and then 3. Do I do one more? Yeah, let's do up to 4. Then just standard power wiring. Out to here, just need to keep in mind that we are using that 2-tick difference for the ratio. So we will have a 2-tick separation on our powers instead of 3 ticks. and then so that's our first one. Then just here, you'll notice that as you start doing more and more of these various cannons here, I'll try and not be too repetitive and cover like different things each time, but you'll notice the 256, the 384, they all start to look very, very similar because there's a very, very set way that I do these cannons. It'll get more fun when we start wiring up our nuke into our sand comp and making hammerlesses. But for the most part, for now, it's going to stay pretty basic. And yeah, let's wide up now. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yep, that's fine. Then repeater there to take into account this 2-tick difference, and we'll just keep it going to there. And of course, we just wire up our dispensers. Now, because this is a 3-second, we don't want our power to be firing back on itself, so we will need another separate sub-circuit at the bottom, so we can close a piston up to block the power in the barrel. That's just so we don't get any of the power spraying back out, pretty much. Okay, and now we can just wire this all up. Neat little trick you can do here is if you do take this selection, you can just go stack 4 west, and then you can just do the entire top end there. We'll put that there, and then we'll do the same thing here. And then there. Alright, so that's our power wide up there. We can do the holding circuit now as well. So as I sort of got into a bit earlier with this sand comp here, I do like everything being in the same circuit. So since this cannon is being fed off a quick pulse, something just seems a little bit off. Don't know why. That's why. I've just gotten the boosters mixed up a little bit, so I need to raise this entire section up. Yeah, I knew something felt off, and that's because that piece of redstone there is a block too low. Because I couldn't fit that observer in the bottom, and that observer was like at the redstone layer. I got super confused there for a second, but it's pretty easy to sort itself out. And yeah, fuck it, we'll do an observer there. Alright, so what we've got here is we've got our powered up, so we can just count these timings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so we're using 8, 10. So if we go into plot chat and we just jot that down, that's 8, 10. So our power is going to be like, it's firing at 8 and 10, but it's going to be exploding at 48 and 50. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to have a piston that closes off this section of the cannon from the barrel. So we'll just set that all out. It does need to be a sticky piston. You can't use a normal piston because you do want 0 exposure getting back out from this. So what you'll do is you'll physically use a solid block to close it back up. Just like that. There's a couple of ways you can do it, but this is my personal go-to. And what we're going to do here is, because we know our cannon's going to be fed off a quick pulse, so we don't really need that block there. But because the power's fed off a quick pulse and sort of everything's going off a quick pulse, I'm actually going to have like a very, very small pulse extender here, just so we don't need to worry about having to time this more precisely. It's just sort of a lazy fix, I guess. So what we can do from here is we can just wire this all up, and I think that's going to accidentally power it, which it did. Just make sure that all works. Bang, yep, that looks pretty good. And yeah, we just want this piston closing up at 48/50. So at the moment, it's going to be going off at 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, and then 48 there will take it to 50. Might actually move this setup just a block over, just so it looks a little bit nicer. And then just go move one west. And then, yeah. Shadows are being a bit funky. It's just because I'm using World Edit, and I don't actually have my gamma set to 1000 yet on the new PC. So, yeah. All sweet though. So now we've got our powers wired up. We have our sandcop wired up, so we're just going to make sure that we get the same timings between the two. Or not the same timings, but we have it timed properly. So that booster there, of course, goes off one tick before the power goes off. Or the first power specifically. So we know our power's going off at 8, so we want that booster there to go off at 7. So we'll just do an initial count to that. So 1, 2, so this is going off at 2, this is going off at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's actually perfect. So provided that we do feed this with a quick pulse, we don't actually need that piston there either, because this is done off a quick pulse now. So this should be absolutely perfect. For the most part, like most of these pretty basic cannons here, like 255s and stuff, they're all like, as long as you know the timings right, you can pretty much just go for like a set theory with them, and it'll pretty much just work each time. It's just knowing your timings, and yeah. Oh, I didn't have sand. Why did I put that there? What am I doing? Just show that again. Slash, okay, so refill did work there. Come on. Boop. There we go. You can see we got our sand there, and we just did CE, and we got 256. Absolute piece of cake. So yeah, if you know your timings and you know how to like set up all these barrels and shit properly, and you can like plan ahead, it is super easy to make a 255 once you've learned the basics. Again, it'll be super easy for 384 as well. So anyway, what we'll do from here is we'll just wire up our hammer. And we'll worry about one rev and then you can next video, because I do kind of want to get this video like under 30 minutes. I'm not sure how easy that's going to be, but yeah, we'll give it a crack anyway. The cool thing actually about this, because I'm using like Windows inbuilt recording software now, I do have a timer on the side there that tells me it is 17 minutes long so far. So I know 30 minutes is still within the time frame for a 255. So what we'll do here is we'll start rigging up these boosters. Now, we do want the boosters to be facing this way, so we sort of have it pushed into the corner here, instead of it getting pushed backwards and potentially going into the booster. So what we'll do is this is super lazy, honestly. Kind of got no shame in doing this though, because it is effectively just going to be the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this, rotate 180. I'm just going to copy this power booster here. I just rotated it around, and what I'll do is I'll just paste it here, and you should see it just lines up very, very nicely. Yeah, perfect. So, well, that works. What we can do as well is we can just take this redstone tail off here, and it'll end up being a lot like the sandcop, where we just have this this booster here, just powering a piston chain here. So we've got like another 2-tick gap. So yeah, that'll just fall in there, and then problem solved. And then yeah, we'll just have that booster wired up that side, just like that. I won't worry about that. There's like a spacer block in the other one there. Won't worry about that here, because it is we're not worried about any interference from the comp or anything. So when that pushes up, that one doesn't need to exist there. Actually, it's better if that doesn't exist, because we don't want that redstone powering that side of that booster there. So that's all good. So when it pushes up, it's going to be activating that block there. And then we'll just put 2 there, and then get a piston. So now this is our boosters wired up for our hammer. And what we'll do is we'll wire up the bottom here. So what I'm actually going to be doing here is I'm going to be just running the redstone underneath. But one thing that we need to keep in mind is we do need our nuke boosters here. So of course we have our nuke there, but we don't have the nuke boosters installed. So what we're going to do is we're not going to run the redstone straight to the hammer boosters here. We are going to run it slightly to the side so we can time it out differently. So we have it running straight like this, I also think with this cannon that I'll probably just have the clock here, so it's sort of hidden underneath the power there. So what I'll do is I'll move this backwards a little bit, and then I'll probably just have my clock. It's a bit funky. Maybe I'll just have it over here. Don't know really. We'll just have it here. We'll just worry about trying to fit it in there later, I think. Or we go with the safer option, which is have it over on the other side. Let's have it over here. This is sort of a nice spot for a clock, because it is offset, and we won't have any redstone through this area here. So we'll just put it here, I think. So we can just have a piston and an observer just to do our quick pulse, and then we'll just count the redstone from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, and then one there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you can see there that that pulse is exactly that will power that, sorry. We have added a repeater here, so the timings from where we're counting are no longer going to be 8, 10, they're going to be 9, 11, which happens to be FazeCev's birthday. So what we can do from here is we can just wire the rest of this up. As I said, we want the sand or the nuke booster wired up. So what we'll do is we'll take that out a bit there, and then we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we've sort of got a nice little line there to power our sand booster off. So of course we want this hammer booster here going off 1 tick before the hammer power, so we can do all the counting for that now. So our hammer power is going to be going off at 11. We want this to be going off at 10, and it is currently going off at 1. And then if we say put some redstone out here, it'll be like 2, 3. That'll be going off at, or that'll be going off at 2. That'll be going off at 3, 4, 5, 6, and we want it to be going off at 10. So we need 4 more redstone ticks in there. So what we'll do is we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and just wire it up like that. Sort of a bit lazy, to be honest, but it'll do for now, and we can clean up all the wiring later. So yeah, you can see that all powers. Next thing that we are going to do is install our hammer. So what we have here, this should be exactly 15 blocks again. So I'll just copy that and just make sure it is 15. In the brackets, just down the very bottom, the second set of brackets, that actually tells you the size of the area you selected. So we know it's a 1 by 15 area, so that's 15 there. What we're going to do is, because it looks very, very similar to the power, the only difference will be we need... Okay, so I didn't talk about this. In that ratios video, I talked about the hammer ratio we need for this timing setup here. I did say it was 1.17. So what we can do before we start adding our hammer is we can work out exactly how much hammer we're going to need as a bare minimum. So what we can actually do is we can run /calc. Now we want to stack 256 sand, and the ratio of sand to hammer is 1 to 1.17. So for every piece of sand we need to stack, we need 1.17 hammer. So we can just simply multiply our sand by that hammer ratio, and then I need to sort that out. So yeah, we need about 300 TNT. So 300 TNT is pretty close to actually what we have here for the is this the power? Yeah, this is the power. What am I saying? So that's actually 360. And each of these lasers is 30. So we can actually just copy this hammer across here, time it all simultaneously, and then it's basically just going to be the same. We just need to drop it by 2 blocks, so we're not using any unnecessary hammer. So what we can do is we can just, maybe I don't copy it. Do I do it from scratch? I don't know how I feel. Nah, we'll copy it. A bit lazy. So we're just going to copy it from here, probably. So copy, and then I want to stay at this Y level, and then if we just go to, I think it's here, Go paste. How's that look? Looks good. And how many observers is this? And how many dispensers is it? It's 11 observers. That should be 10 dispensers. Okay, sweet. Now this works. So we'll just clear all that up. And this should be like 300 TNT on the dot now, because it is 10 high, 15 long by 2, because we do have those two sides. One thing we do need to keep in mind is because we did have our power pre-separated, that we need to re-separate it. Or we need to, not re-separate it, sorry. We need to combine it back together so it all goes off simultaneously, because you don't want your hammer on different timings. Stack 4 west. So that goes there. And then this goes here. Another good habit that I will get into this video is having all the top sections of your cannon, try and have them all on the same Y level. It's specifically for the sand plate, so that your sand plate isn't like much higher or much lower than the cannon. It just makes it look cleaner in my opinion. So we'll just go stack 4 east, and then boom. So what we can do now is we can just wire all this up, and I'm just going to have some repeaters going in like that, and I don't need that repeater there. So that's all wired up to go simultaneously. So with this hammer ratio, I did say that it was, what, 0 to 6.59. So if we have our second power going off at 11, we need, so because there's 7 ticks between 2 and 9, there needs to be 7 ticks between our second power and a hammer. So if our second power is going off at 11, a hammer needs to be going off at 18. So what we'll do is we'll just count all the way up. So we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll go 9. And then 10. So that's going off at 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's going off at 13 right now. I'm actually going to raise this up as well, just because I did talk about everything just being on the same Y level before. Good habit to get into. Move 2 up. Of course, that's going to be adding another tick. I've lost my train of thought. I think it's, where are we up to? I think it was up to like 13 or something. So what we'll do is we'll just try it. So that goes there. So if we've got 13, or it'd be 14 now with this extra one, we want it to go off at 18. What we can do is we can just have 4 ticks like that. That of course is not going to mean, it's going to mean it's not a quick pulse anymore. So we'll just add in a quick pulse just using that piston there. And that should be good. I think that should work. So if we just get a button. One thing that I haven't really tested so far is just making sure this cannon works on auto. Probably should do, sooner or later. Yeah, you can see it does work though. We'll just test it. It should be fine because it's a 3-sec. 3-secs are pretty easy to time out. I am a little bit concerned maybe about the repeaters here, but what we can do is we'll just set up a 3-second clock here. So comparator, sand comparator clock. So 1, 5, 9, 13, 14, 15. So that's 3 seconds there, and then we just put a block there and a lever and a button. Buttons for semi-auto, levers for full auto. And we'll just put that there, and then boom, TNT fill, and we'll just lever it and just see if it works. Lever and pray. I don't know how good that bottom clock's going to be. Hopefully it's going to be okay. Okay. It looks fine. I don't see anything spraying. Okay, that might help. Boom. Okay. Oh, okay, you can see there why we do have a roof over the top of those boosters. You can see the booster firing itself back up and back down. I think we got spraying. Yeah, there's a bit of TNT coming out. Okay, that's from the power. So we'll just try and troubleshoot that on the fly. So I'll just put a slab there. See if that stops spraying. Wow. Yep, that works. So yeah, it was actually the power providing a bit of exposure to the second shot actually. But yeah, apart from that, that's sort of where we're sitting right now. So this is a 3-sec. Doesn't barrel stack because we don't have that 1 rev ratio installed yet. But apart from that, that looks pretty good. As a side note, it actually looks like my PC is actually handling this pretty well, with very, very little lag, which is always a welcome change from the shitty Mac that I was working with before. But yeah, apart from that, that'll pretty much sum up this video. In the next one, we'll finish this cannon. We'll install the nuke, the 1 rev, everything else that needs to go in, 1-shot sand, nuke hammer, everything that we need that's left, we'll do in the next video. So apart from that, yeah, I'll catch you all in the next one.